It's going to be amazing, legendary. It's going to be awesome. You're going to want to check it out. Get ready. Welcome to Dad Boss Gameplay. Within just the last couple of years, there have been announcements of sequels or follow-ups of 5 of my favorite games of all time. Today, I'm going to talk about these 5 upcoming game sequels and play a little bit of the original games that inspired the sequel. I'm really excited for these games and can't wait to talk more about them. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Number 5, Hades 2. So I'm gonna go back and play Hades, the game that inspired Hades 2. Let's see if I can remember how to play this game.
Cheers for that, Meg.
Hades is a roguelike dungeon crawler that arrived in 2020 to critical acclaim. So if you're not familiar with how this game works or how other roguelike games work, you start at the very beginning of the game every single time you die, and the way to win the whole game is to make it to the very end in one run through. Along the way, you get different power-ups and abilities that you can add and expand on, but basically you have to beat the whole game in one run without messing up too much. Developed by Supergiant Games, it set a new standard for roguelikes with its polished design style, dynamic combat, and seamless narrative that embrace the looping nature of the game, which has you start at the beginning each time you die on a quest to escape from hell. So you really have to become a master of this game by just grinding it out, dying a bunch of times, and getting really good at it. Before I played this game for the first time, it didn't look that spectacular until I picked up the controller and tried it out myself, and it's extremely addicting. It's so much fun, and there's so much skill required to actually play this game well, and it really did just take repetition over and over and over of playing until you perfected it enough to get far enough where you beat the game. Okay, here we go. These guys are easy. About to get a little more wild. Nice. So you can choose which door you go in, and every time you play a run through, the map is different, so it's never exactly the same. Boom, 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 boom. Go, go, go. Use my special. I'm getting a little distracted. Every level gets a little harder. Oh! They do such a good job, though, of tying in the story and the narrative with how a roguelike game works. Boom. Oh, get out of here, get out of here. It definitely took a bunch of run-throughs to actually get semi-decent at this game, but it never got tiring and never got old. I just wanted to keep playing and keep playing. Go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's do this. It really feels good to be playing this game again. The mechanics are amazing. The art looks simple at first, but it's actually done so well. They did so good on it. The sequel, Hades 2, was announced at the 2022 Game Awards. While an official release date has not yet been announced, early access of the game is anticipated in Q2 of 2024, with an official release date revealed following shortly after. Hades 2, I was not expecting an announcement for that. I love that they kept the art style and the gameplay style with a new story, and I'm sure they have new updates and new weapons and things like that, but it's going to be amazing. I'm looking for any announcement on when this one's coming out, but if you haven't tried it yet, even if you're not familiar with this kind of game, you definitely should give it a try. It is awesome. I could not be more excited for this game. Hades sucked me in for countless hours. The narrative and seamless gameplay are incredibly challenging and a ton of good fun. Number 4, Haunted Chocolatier. Here we go. Back to Stardew Valley. I haven't played this game in a long time. So many hours put into this game. Stardew Valley is a 2016 farm life sim game developed by Concerned Ape. You take the role of a character who inherits their deceased grandfather's abandoned farm in a place known as Stardew Valley. I don't even remember where I'm at. Oh, I'm at the little island area. It's like a secondary farm that I set up. It's a farm sim type of game. The creator really combined all of the gameplay mechanics from all of the farm sims over the years that worked well, so that all of the features that we wanted are in a game like this. Along the way, you grow crops, raise livestock, fish, cook, mine, forage, and socialize with the townspeople. So you start this game out with basically nothing but an abandoned farm, and you learn how to forage, grow plants, take care of plants, get animals, but you can explore in caves. But it's just one of the most relaxing games I've ever played in my life, partly because of the soundtrack and the music, but the art style, the simple 2D pixel style is phenomenal. It wasn't an original concept, but this game paired everything that was good about the genre alongside a beautiful art style and incredible original music. This was my farm in the dead of winter. Feels good to be back here. There's a big part of the story element of this game that unravels the more you talk to people and get to know certain people. There's actually some mystery into this as well. The follow-up game from this developer, Haunted Chocolatier, is a simulation game with action roleplay elements that was originally announced in 2021. But everything about it is just so much fun. But it was just one person who developed this entire game, all the music. He's also given a lot of support to this game ever since it came out all the way back in 2016, and he's still coming out with new updates. Your character runs a chocolate shop where you collect ingredients, talk to townspeople, and interact with ghosts. But when he announced Haunted Chocolatier, I was so excited to see it was in the same art style, even though he changed what the gameplay is like. The music, I'm sure, will be very similar to the vibes in this game, which is one of the biggest reasons why I liked it. While the gameplay loop is not exactly the same as Stardew Valley, it shares a lot of the same concepts that made it such a great game, and also boasts a heavier emphasis on combat. It is crazy to think that one person designed and developed this entire game, and they're doing the same thing with Haunted Chocolatier. Having that much control over your idea is definitely a big reason why it turned out so legendary. If you haven't checked out Stardew Valley, even if you've never played this kind of game, I promise you, you will get sucked into it if you give it a couple hours to kick things off. It's so much fun to play. There are challenging parts, but the story and the music and the art style and everything come together in a way that make you just want to keep coming back every day to play it. While there is not a release date set for Haunted Chocolatier, many speculate that it could be released anywhere from 2024 to 2026. Let's hope it's on the earlier side of this timeline, because I am absolutely ecstatic for this game to come out. Number 3, Deltarune Chapter 3. Back to Deltarune. Deltarune is a role-playing game developed by Toby Fox, the creator of the cult classic Undertale. I'm at the Queen's Mansion right here, so I can never really decide if I like Deltarune better or Undertale better. There's so many funny parts to this game, like the Queen is probably one of my favorite characters. Though it shares similar story elements and characters as Undertale, it takes place in a different world entirely. I think for Deltarune, the developer Toby Fox got a team of people to help instead of just him doing the whole thing, so you can see that it's like a level up on the animation. They really did a good job from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2 on developing the characters. Deltarune expands on Undertale's greatest strengths, emphasizing character development, well-timed humor, and a strong soundtrack. But in Deltarune, you start out as Chris, this main character, and he goes to school, somehow goes into this secret area in this other world where he ends up in this quest to save the whole world. Chris, get up! The combat system is turn-based, and enemy battles can be won both peacefully or through violence. You're in the shop now. I always thought it's funny that now in Deltarune you can actually sell items. In Undertale, always laughed at you like, what? Why are you selling in my shop? Chapter 1 was originally released in 2018, followed by Chapter 2 in 2021, with 7 chapters in total being planned for the entire game. The battle system is very similar to Undertale, but they changed up a lot of different things. Now instead of one character that you can fight with, you can have different teams. They all have different powers and abilities, so you have to decide what move everyone is going to do, including magic. So it really brings a whole new element to the gameplay here. Watch out, watch out. While there is not a scheduled release date for Chapter 3 just yet, a recent report from Toby Fox reveals that it is nearing completion, with the game in the final stages of development. But if you've never played Deltarune or Undertale, you really can just jump right into Deltarune. You don't even have to really understand Undertale to enjoy the game. You obviously get a lot more from it if you played Undertale. And if it follows the same release timeline as the other chapters, that would in fact fall in line with a 2024 release. But I'm so excited for Chapter 3. It's going to be awesome. The new story in this game, all the new characters, all the new music. The story's been building since Chapter 1. So when Chapter 3 comes out, I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it. I was admittedly late to the Undertale Deltarune train, but these games have quickly become some of my all-time favorites, and I absolutely can't wait for the next chapter to come out. Number 2, Earthblade. So Celeste is one of those games where by the time you finish, all you can do is just sit back and marvel at how amazing of a game it was. Celeste is a 2018 platform game developed by Maddie Makes Games, now known as Extremely OK Games. Everything about the game is very simple, the 2D pixel art style, the controls, but it's all blended together in a way that is just mind-blowing. You play as Madeline, a young woman with anxiety and depression who attempts to climb Celeste Mountain. During her climb, she comes across several characters, including a personification of her self-doubt known as Badeline, who attempts to keep her from climbing the mountain. The story elements to it are really deep, and it really goes into dealing with different emotions and anxiety, and a lot of people have said that this game has actually helped them a lot, but it's absolutely beautifully done. It is a very challenging platformer. It definitely takes time to learn the controls, learn the maps, learn how to get through it. It's a pretty forgiving game, so if you die, there's no game over. You just start over in each area. Celeste received universal acclaim from critics. Reviewers praised how the narrative complemented its gameplay, and movement and controls were lauded as among the best in any video game. This became one of my favorite games of all time. I remember where I was when I finished it. Me and Ava played it all the time, almost every night for a long time. She loves this game as well. Yeah, what can you say about the music too? It's just absolutely amazing. This is definitely a game that if you missed it, if you haven't played it, you're going to want to check it out. The follow-up to Celeste, Earthblade, was originally announced in 2021 and is a 2D exploration action platform game. The developer announced Earthblade, the next game, a few years ago. It's not meant to be a direct sequel, although I'm technically looking at it like it is because it's going to share a lot of similarities in the game design. It just takes so much focus to get through this, and that's what I love about it. It feels so good to be playing this game again. The player controls the character Nevia, who has recently returned to a ruined Earth as they explore the world, dash between platforms, climb terrain, and fight enemies. I'm hoping it comes out soon. It was supposed to be 2024, but I think it's delayed possibly till next year. It's going to be one you don't want to miss. It's such a great game. Oh, this part's getting cool. What I love about the music for this game though is it just flows so well with the style that it just immerses you into what you're doing. No. Earthblade's genre and art style are similar to Celeste, though it is not a direct sequel. Originally planned for 2024, the developer recently announced it would be delayed as they continue to make improvements to the game before release. If you haven't played Celeste, I'm telling you now, it is absolutely amazing game, beautifully done. So I'm extremely excited for the next game from this developer, Earthblade. Once we have some more information on it, I'm definitely going to be even more hyped because I love everything that the developer did for this game, Celeste. Be sure to check Earthblade out when it does finally arrive though, because it is going to be a phenomenal game. Celeste is one of my all-time favorites, so I'm ecstatic for the follow-up from this developer. And last but not least, number 1, Silksong. I haven't been back to Hollow Knight since I finished the game and dumped hours and hours into it. This is so crazy to be playing again. Hollow Knight is a 2017 Metroidvania game developed by Team Cherry. Where do you even start with a game like Hollow Knight? It's arguably the best Metroidvania game to come out in a long time. Metroidvania games, if you don't know, originated from Metroid, one of my favorite games of all time. The player controls the knight, an insect warrior in a fallen kingdom known as Hollow Nest, which is plagued by disease. Wow, I don't remember the controls at all. Interesting. Wow, I died really quickly. I'm just terrible at the controls right now. But this game probably did it better than any other game since Metroid, which is why I got so much critical acclaim and so many people love this game. Hollow Knight was well received by critics and gamers, with particular praise for its music, art style, world building, atmosphere, combat, and level of difficulty. But it's an absolutely massive game, and they did such a phenomenal job of building the lore of this game, and everything about it is just incredible. The whole story of it, but just the art, the hand-drawn style art, the music, the eeriness, the challenge. It was heavily inspired by older platformers such as Metroid, Zelda, and Mega Man, and by 2019 had sold 2.8 million copies. It's a very, very tough game. Even after you beat the game, there can still be so much that you haven't actually explored and figured out. Here we go. I really don't remember how to play. The sequel, Silksong, was originally intended to be extra game content for Hollow Knight. However, the scope of the project grew enough that in 2019, Team Cherry announced that Silksong would be its own full game. What an absolutely phenomenal game. If you've never played it, you're truly missing out. They announced the sequel to Hollow Knight quite a while back, Silksong. The main character in Silksong that you play as is actually in this game too, but now that is the playable character. In Silksong, you play as Hornet, a non-playable character from Hollow Knight, in her own new adventure. They originally thought of it as a DLC to this game, but it became so massive as they were developing it that they luckily are turning it into its own game. Silksong is going to be awesome. The whole art style is obviously very similar to it. It's a sequel. The game shares the same design style that made Hollow Knight so memorable, with updated game mechanics and a new story. So if you haven't played Hollow Knight, wow, you are truly missing out. One of the best games ever made, period. It's an absolutely stellar game. I cannot wait for Silksong. Silksong is going to be absolutely incredible when they ever finally do announce when it's coming out, which could be this year. I wouldn't be exaggerating when I say that this is probably one of the most anticipated games out there right now. But after many delays, we still don't have a release date announced. But when it comes out, get ready. But rest assured, when this game comes out, I'll be putting everything else down and playing it non-stop. I'm really curious what your thoughts are on these games. Are you excited for any of these as much as I am? Or are there any other games that I didn't talk about that you're also excited about? Let me know in the comments below. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.